Hello YouTubers, this is Magic Mike here, and today we are going to be opening up the Amonkhet booster box. Now, for those of you who are new to Magic, the booster box contains 36 booster packs, and in each booster pack you will get 15 cards, 10 commons, 3 uncommons, a rare, and a basic land. In this series there are the possibilities of getting cards called invocations. They are very rare and very valuable. So what we're going to do is open this up and see what we get today. All right. Let's just go ahead and put these off to the side. All right, 36 booster packs. So, in we go. First pack. So the first 10, I'll just go ahead and skip through. They are just common. So we have by force, uncommon. It says destroy X target artifacts. Censor, counter target spell unless its controller pays 1 generic. Now it does have cycling 1. A lot of cards in this set have cycling. They brought that back. Basically you pay 1 and discard this card when it's in your hand and you get to draw a card. Vizier of Deferment. This is a flash card. For those of you who are newer to this, you can play this as an instant. Whenever this enters the battlefield, you may exile target creature if it attacked or blocked this turn. Return that card under its controller's owner's control at the beginning of the next end step. And then I've got Oketra the True. I got a god. Alright, now there are 5 gods in this set. There is the white, the green, the black, the red, and the blue. This is the white one. It has double strike and indestructible. It cannot attack or block unless you control at least 3 other creatures, and you can pay 3 generic and a white to create a 1/1 white warrior creature with vigilance. And then you get the token and the land. So it's a pretty good pull for the first pack. I'm going to go ahead and keep the uncommons, the rares, separate, and then the rest of it we'll just put in the pile. Alright, pack number 2. Off to a good start. Alright, again, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Okay. First uncommon, it's called Onward to Victory. So obviously, you play Onward for 3. Target creature gets +X+0 until the end of turn, where X is its power. And then after you've cast this spell, or if this is in your graveyard already, Aftermath. You can only cast this card if it's in your graveyard. Target creature gains double strike until the end of turn. I do believe so. This is a sorcery, so you have to do it on your turn. But it's pretty cool how they brought back the cards like this. Oketra's Monument. White creature spells you cast cost 1 less to cast. It's pretty decent. Alright guys, to finish where we left off, we've got Destined to Lead. Target creature gets +1/+0 and gets indestructible until the end of turn. And when it goes to the graveyard, we have all creatures able to block target creature this turn do so. And the rare, creatures with flying cannot attack you or planeswalkers you control. At the beginning of your end step, create a 5/5 green worm creature token. It's pretty good. And then we've got the land, and they've actually got this cool thing here. These are like a little punch out cards to where you can punch out the bricks or the -1/-1 counters. They have a lot of things in this set that include -1/-1s, or they get brick counters whenever they're tapped, or you can embalm them. Another cool little thing to where, like, if a creature goes to the graveyard and you pay the embalm cost, you get a copy of it onto the field and it is embalmed. Exerted, you can exert a creature while it's attacking. If you do, it does not untap during its next untap step, but it does gain a cool little plus, like Glorybringer. It's a 4/4 flying dragon, and when you exert it, it deals 4 damage to target creature or player. It's pretty good. On to pack 3. I like what I'm getting so far. It's pretty good. Let's see here. Alright. We have Trial of Zeal. When it enters the battlefield, it deals 3 damage to target creature or player. And then whenever a cartouche, or cartouche, however you pronounce it, enters the battlefield under your control, you return this to your hand. There are 5 trials, which are enchantments that do something when it comes into the field, and there are 5 cartouches that you can enchant creatures, and then whenever the cartouche comes out, these enchantments go back to your hand. We've got Decimator Beetle. Whenever it enters the battlefield, you can put a -1/-1 counter on a target creature that you control. You actually have to do that. And then whenever it attacks, you remove a -1/-1 counter from a creature you control and put one on up to 1 creature the defending player controls. It's pretty good. The rare is Pull from Tomorrow. You draw X cards and then discard 1 card, where X is, as you see here, you pay 2 and X. Ooh, and then we got a foil cartouche. This is exactly what I was talking about earlier. So these are the corresponding colors. So whenever you bring this out, it deals 3 damage to a target creature or player, and then you would enchant your creature with this one. The enchanted creature gets +1/+1 in haste, and then this would be returned to your hand so that you can play it again. It's a nice little combo there. And then the token in the land. Put that aside. I accidentally skipped one of the commons on that pack. Return up to 2 target cards with cycling from your graveyard to your hand. It's pretty good. On to pack 4. So, the first uncommon, Protection of the Heckma. If a source an opponent controls would deal damage to you, prevent 1 of that damage. Labyrinth Guardian. When this enters or becomes the target of a spell, sack it. This has the embalm effect, as I was saying. You pay 4 and exile it from your graveyard, and you create a token of this into the battlefield. Except it is a white zombie illusion warrior with no mana cost. You can only embalm as a sorcery. This is a pretty decent card, a 2/3 for 2. That's why the drawback is whenever it becomes the target of a spell, you have to sack it. Seraph of the Suns. It is a 4/4 flying angel with indestructible. And the rare is a dual land that you can cycle. These are actually pretty good. You can cycle it for 2. If it's in your hand, you pay 2, discard the card, and then draw a card. And then looks like we got a foil Angler Drake. 4/4 flyer. When it enters the battlefield, you may return target creature to its owner's hand. Nice. Doing pretty good so far. I'm hoping for an invocation, but we all do. Either that or possibly Planeswalker. Alright, Rona's Monument. I like this one because the green god is my favorite out of the gods. Green creature spells you cast cost 1 less. Really good. There is a few good green creatures out. There's a 2-drop 4/4 that when it comes out, you put 3 -1/1 counters on a target creature that you control. Which is a great trade, because if I had a 1/1 out, I would definitely kill the 1/1 for the 4/4, especially if I do have Rona out, because the god card is 5/5 indestructible death touch, but it can only attack or block if you control another creature with power 4 or greater. So this would help you get that out. You would only pay 1 green for that 4/4 really well. Kenra Charioteer, a 3/3 with trample, and other creatures you control have trample for 3. It's pretty good. Watcher of the Dead. Exile Watchers of the Dead. Each opponent chooses 2 cards in his or her graveyard and exiles the rest. Pretty good. Regal Caracal. Other cats you control get +1 and +1 and have lifelink. And then whenever it enters the battlefield, create 2 1/1 white cat creature tokens with lifelink. So basically you're getting 2 2/2 cats with lifelink as well as this one. No full art lands yet. The cool thing about the full art lands in this set is they are a lot more rare, a lot more scarce, I should say. So I feel like, in my opinion, that'll make them more valuable. Whereas in the Battle for Zendikar or the Gatewatch set, they gave away full art lands for all the basic lands. So all right. Ruthless Sniper. Whenever you cycle or discard, you may pay 1 generic, and if you do, put a -1/-1 on target creature. It's pretty decent if you have a cycle deck. Kefnet's Monument. This is the Blue God's Monument. So blue creature spells you cast cost 1 less. Whenever you cast a creature spell, target creature an opponent control does not untap during its controller's next untap step. Pretty good. Oh. Another Watchers of the Dead. And then New Perspectives. Again, if you are doing a cycle deck, this is pretty good. Whenever it enters the battlefield, you draw 3 cards. And then as long as you have 7 or more cards in hand, you may pay 0 rather than pay cycling costs. So if you were to have, say, 4 or more cards in hand, and you're put this on the field, you draw 3, you instantly have 7. And then if you have any of those in your hand or cycle and you don't need them, you can just cycle them for free right away, and it allows you just to dig through your deck. Really good. And then Full Art Land. Nice. I really like the art on these. And again, they're more scarce, so put those with the uncommons. Alright. Cryptic Serpent. It costs 1 less to cast for each instant or sorcery card in your graveyard. It's pretty good. If you're running a deck with a lot of instants or sorceries, this could typically cost 2 blue for a 6/5. Okretra's Attendant. A 3/3 flyer with cycling for 2 and embalm for 5. Vizier of Tumbling Sands. Tap this card to untap another target permanent. It's pretty good. If you're in need of another land right away, you can tap this and untap a land. Artifacts you can untap, and it's got cycling for 2. Harsh Mentor. Really good card. Whenever an opponent activates an ability or of an artifact, creature, or land on the field that isn't a mana ability, this deals 2 damage to that player. Really, really good card. If they have an artifact that taps or a creature that taps, you know, a land that taps for a special ability, it deals 2 damage to them, so it helps, especially in a red deck, it helps kill them faster. Getting some pretty good cards so far. Really happy. I already went to pre-release, so I do have a green god already that I love. It's my favorite god, like I said earlier. I'm hoping to pull another one. I really want to run in the deck that I have, so put these in the wrong pile. Alright, so we have True Heart Twins. This is an exert card, so you may exert this as it attacks. Whenever you exert a creature, creatures you control get +1/+0 until the end of turn. So I like this card because it's not just when you exert this card, but it's when you exert any creature you control, they all get +1/+1, or +1/+0, excuse me. Sacred Behemoth. It's a 6-drop, 6/7 with hexproof. Renewed Faith, you gain 6 life. When you cycle this, you gain 2 life, so either way, you're gaining life with this card, and it's got a cycle cost for 2. So if you're running a cycle deck with a white, this is a really good card to have because you can draw a card and gain 2 for 2. And then our rare is Mouth to Feed. So Mouth is 3-drop, create a 3/3 green hippo creature token. And then when it's in the graveyard, for 4, you can draw a card for each creature you control with power 3 or greater. Another card that they reprinted in here that I really like, it's called Fling. It is a 2-drop red, a 2 and a red and a generic. It says that as an additional cost to Fling, sacrifice a creature you control, and then it deals damage equal to that creature's power to target creature or player. So if you're running a red deck and you've got like a 6-power creature, you can swing with it, and if they either decide to eat the damage or not, you can fling him and deal an additional 6 damage anyways. Alright. Hapatra's Mark. Instant 1-drop. Target creature you control gains hexproof until the end of turn, and remove all -1/-1 counters from it. Nest of Scarabs. Whenever you put 1 or more -1/-1 counters on a creature, create that many 1/1 insect creature tokens. Shadowstorm Vizier. It is a 1/3 flyer, and whenever you cycle or discard a card, it gets +1/+0 or +1/+1 until the end of turn. And then the rare is another dual land cycle card. I do enjoy these. Unfortunately, they only come in tapped, but this cycling is what's really good for them, so it helps you thin out your land. Alright, start to finish. You're going to create 2 1/1 white warrior creature tokens with vigilance as an instant, which is really well. You can do that at the end of your opponent's end step, and then they are able to attack next turn for 3. And then finish. As an additional cost, sack a creature, destroy target creature. Pretty good for 3. Battlefield Scavenger, an exert card. It's a 2/2. Whenever you exert a creature, you may discard a card. If you do, draw a card. And that's another one that says whenever you exert a creature, not just this creature. Trial of Solidarity. When it enters the battlefield, creatures you control get +2/+1 and gain vigilance until the end of turn. Whenever a Cartouche enters the battlefield under your control, return this to your hand. And then the rare Glory Bound Initiate. When you exert this card, it gets +1/+3 and gains lifelink until the end of turn, so it becomes a 4/4 lifelink. And then another full art land. Alright, I'm digging it. Alright. Still no Planeswalkers or Invocations, but we got plenty to go. Kefnet's Monument again. It's the Blue God enchantment. Limits of Solidarity. Gain control of target creature until the end of turn. Untap it, it gains haste, and then cycle for 2. On-Crop Champion. When you exert this, untap all creatures you control. Nice. If you have a lot of creatures that, like there's that one creature I showed you earlier, the blue one, it taps to untap a target permanent. If you have multiple of those on the field and then you exert him, then you can untap a lot of permanents with those ones. And then Archfiend of Ifnir. 5/4 flyer. When you cycle or discard another card, put a -1/-1 counter on each creature your opponent controls, cycling for 2. This was actually one of the pre-release. I had a few pre-release boxes that I'd gotten, and this is one of them that I had gotten. It's a pretty decent card. All right. So, Zenith Seeker, 2/2 flyer. Whenever you cycle or discard, target creature gets flying until the end of turn. Ooh, that's nice. Lay Claim. Enchant permanent. You control enchanted permanent. Cycle for 2. I like that. So, I don't know if you guys are aware of the Gideon in this set. It's a 3-drop. It's 2 white and a generic. It's +1, I believe, don't quote me on this, states that it target permanent gains indestructible until your next turn, and then it has 2 zeros to where one of them says that you get an emblem to where you, as long as you control Gideon, you cannot lose and your opponent cannot win. So this is a great way to stop that. Grasping Dunes. Now you see, this is what I was saying with a land that says it's got another non-mana ability. So if you got Harsh Mentor out and they tried using this, it would deal 2 damage to them. So you can tap this for colorless, or you can tap 1 in this and put a -1/-1 on target creature. But you can only do that as a sorcery. And then we've got Aven Mind Sensor. This is a 2/1 with flash. If an opponent were to search a library, that player searches the top 4 cards instead. So if they have a card that says, like the next card actually, Evolving Wilds, search your library for a basic land card and put it in the battlefield. If they were to tap this and sack this and do that, in response you can flash this card. And they would only search the top 4 for one instead. I like that, Evolving Wilds. It's pretty nice. Okay, let's see what we got here. So, pack number 12. We are a third of the way to the booster box. And we've pulled some pretty good stuff so far. I can't say that I'm not happy. Another Sensor. Target, counter target spell unless its controller plays 1. Cycling for 1. Really good. Lord of the Accused. Other zombies you control get +1/+1. And then you can tap 2 and tap this, and then all zombies gain menace until the end of turn. On-Crop Crasher. 3/2 with haste, and then when you exert it, target creature cannot block this turn. Ooh. And then we got Ronus. I am very, very happy. This is the one I was talking about. A 5/5 Death Touch Indestructible for 3. When you have a creature, another creature with a power 4 or greater, then you may attack or block with him. You can't otherwise. And then you can pay 3, and then another target creature gains +2/+0 and trample to the end of turn. And then a Full Art Mountain. This is the first Full Art Mountain that I had from this set. I have one of each color, at least now. I really like these. Like I said, they've got that monument there in the middle. Extremely happy that I just pulled a Ronus. It'd be really cool if I pulled one of each of the gods. Even better if I pulled a Gideon, and then an Invocation would be the best. I'm hoping for an Invocation Force of Will. That would make me extremely happy. Devoted Cropmate. You can exert this as it attacks. If you do, return target creature card with converted mana cost 2 or less from your graveyard to the battlefield. Pretty good. Stir in the Sands. Create 3 2/2 black zombies. Cycle for 4, and if you were to cycle this card, you create a 2/2 zombie anyways. Another Grasping Dunes. And then Fetid Pools. It is a dual land you can cycle. I do enjoy those. Alright, on to the third of the box. Ruthless Sniper. Again, the 1-drop 1/2. Whenever you cycle, put a -1/-1. Bantu's Monument. This is the Black God's Monument. So black creatures will cost 1 generic less to cast, and then whenever you cast a creature spell, each opponent loses 1 life and you gain 1 life. Lay Bare the Heart. Target opponent reveals his or her hand. You choose a non-legendary, non-land creature from it, and that player discards that. So this is a great way to get rid of Gideon. It is a good way to get rid of any powerful cards, obviously, that are non-legendary, non-land. And then Curator of Mysteries. 4/4 flyer. Whenever you cycle or discard, you can scry 1, and it's got cycling for 1. Really good. Cycling for 1 is really good. If you do not need that card, you pay 1 and then you get a new card. You know, that's really good. Okay. Consuming Fervor. I do enjoy this card in my red deck. You enchant a creature, it gets +3/+3, and then it has, at the beginning of your upkeep, it gets a -1/-1 counter. So I like to attach this to a creature that either I'm going to fling or, you know, this. I mean, it's a good way to get in damage quick. The -1/-1 at the beginning of your upkeep doesn't really matter as long as you're doing the damage pretty quickly. Trial of Ambition, the Black Trial. When this comes in the field, your opponent's going to sack a creature, and then when you play a card of J, return it to your hand. Gale Strike. Return target tapped creature to its owner's hand, and then draw a card. And then Temet, Vizier of Naktamun. These Egyptian cards are really hard to pronounce. At the beginning of your combat on your turn, target creature token you control gets +1/+1 until the end of turn and cannot be blocked. It says target creature token. So this is really good if you were going to use it on your embalmed creatures. So if you have a lot of embalmed, like some cats, a lot of the cats are embalmed, or if you were to embalm this card even, and then at the beginning it would be a 3/3 for 2. Full art planes, nice. It'd be really cool if I got a foil full art. Those are pretty valuable as well. Flameblade Adept. I do enjoy this card. It goes well with a really good combo. So this is a 1/2 with Menace for 1, and then whenever you cycle or discard a card, it gets +1/+0 until the end of turn. There is a card in Eldritch Moon series. It's called Noose Constrictor. It states that whenever you may discard a card, and then if you do, it gets +1/+1 until the end of turn. The combo would be putting a mountain down on turn 1, and then Flameblade Adept. Putting down a Blooming Marsh untapped, turn 2. That is a land that comes in untapped if you control 2 or less basic lands. And then you would play the Noose Constrictor, because that is a green and a generic. And then on turn 3, you would discard 4 cards, and then play a 2-drop black card from this set that says any card that you were to cycle or discard this turn, you return it to your hand. It's an instant, and then you can go ahead and discard those again. So the Flameblade Adept would be a 9/2, and the Noose Constrictor would be a 10/10, and he would swing 19 on that turn. It's a really good combo. I really want to try, so I'm glad that I'm getting more of these. Decimator Beetle. Crocodile the Crossing. It's a 5/4 with haste. When it enters the battlefield, you put 1 -1/-1 counter on a target creature you control. And then Combat Celebrant. Mythic Rare, 4/1. If it hasn't been exerted this turn, you may exert it. If you do, untap all creatures you control after this phase, and there is an additional combat phase. Really cool card. I do not have any of those black cards that I was saying with that combo, the 2-drop that returns all discarded or cycled cards to your hands. I'm hoping to get at least one of those. It is a rare though, so Cryptic Serpent. Merciless Javelineer. Pay 2 and discard a card, put a -1/-1 on target creature, and then that creature can't be blocked this turn. Defiant Great Maw. Whenever this enters the battlefield, you put 2 -1/-1 on a target creature you control, and then whenever you do put -1/-1s on this one, you may remove one from another creature you control. So this is a 3-drop 4/5. I would definitely trade a 1/1 for this to stay a 4/5. That's what's really cool about this series. Get these mixed up here. And then Prepare to Fight. Prepare 2-drop untap target creature. It gains +2/+2 and lifelink until the end of turn. And then Fight. Target creature you control fights target creature an opponent controls. And it looks like I've got a foil Bitterblade Warrior. You can exert it. When you do, it gets +1/+0 and gains Death Touch until the end of turn. So most likely, whenever you swing with that Death Touch, if they got something of value out, they're not going to block it. Okay, let's see what we got. Enigma Drake. Its power is equal to the number of instants or sorceries in your graveyard. Flying. Really good if you're running an instant sorcery deck. True Heart Twins. Honored Crop Captain, a 2-drop. Whenever it attacks, other attacking creatures get +1/+0. Shadow of the Grave. Return to your hand all cards in your graveyard that you cycled or discarded this turn. Exactly what I was saying earlier. This is that 2-drop black card for that combo. Check that out. So, like I said, you cycle or you discard 4 cards. And then you play this and you get all those cards back, and then you discard them again. Really good combo. I'm hoping to test that out and see how well that works, because if I can get those cards in my opening hand, that is definitely a turn 3 win in a standard tournament, which is insane. So depending on how many of those shadows I get, I'm probably going to go and buy some more. Warfire Javelineer. When it enters the battlefield, it deals X damage to target creature and opponent controls, where X is the number of instant or sorcery cards in your graveyard. I would definitely run this with that Drake in a blue-red instant and sorcery deck. Vizier the Remedies. If one or more -1/-1 counters would be put on a creature you control, that many -1 are put on it instead. So if you got a card that says put 1 -1 -1 on a target creature you control, you don't put any. Grimstrider, it's a 6/6, gets -1/-1 for each card in your hand. And then Insult to Injury. Insult damage cannot be prevented this turn. If a source were to deal damage, it deals double. And then Injury deals 2 to target creature and player. And then a Full Art Forest. Nice. I'm actually going to move this stack of commons over to my nightstand so that I can make sure that these stay in frame. Fling, as I was saying earlier. Trial of Ambition, the trial that makes your opponent sack a creature. Oops. Apatra's Mark. Reduce to Rubble. Reduce is counter target spell unless its controller pays 3. And then a Rubble is up to 3 target lands don't untap during their controller's next untap step. And then the rare, Never to Return. Never destroy target creature or planeswalker. Pretty good if they don't make their Gideon indestructible. Sorry about you. And then Return. Exile target card from a graveyard. Create a 2/2 zombie. And then Full Art Swamp. I'm digging those full arts a lot. Ooh. This package is kind of open on both ends. Somebody told me that is something about luck, but I think that's all of them, to be honest. Only me. Alright, Zenith Seeker. Cast Out. It's a flash card. When it enters the battlefield, exile target non-land permanent until this leaves. Another good way to get rid of Gideon. Blood Rage Brawler, a really good card in my opinion. It is a 2-drop 4/3. Whenever it enters the battlefield, you have to discard a card, which is well worth it for a 4-drop. And then Hazaret's Favor. At the beginning of your combat on your turn, you may have a target creature you control gain +2/+0 and haste. If you do, you have to sack it at the beginning of the next end step, though. But it could be worth it. If you were to have a creature that, you just want to deal damage right away and kill them, you don't even need that creature next turn anyways. Alright. Rona's Monument, the Green God Monument. Edifice of Authority. You can tap 1 and tap this. Target creature cannot attack this turn. And then you put a brick counter on it. Those brick counters I was telling you about earlier. You can tap 1 and tap this, and then until your next turn, target creature can't attack or block. But you can only use that ability if it has 3 or more brick counters on it. So if they have a really powerful creature and it has 3 brick counters on it, it is not attacking as long as you have that out. You can just keep tapping it on each one of your turns. Spring to Mind. Search your library for a basic land card, put it on the battlefield, and then shuffle your library. And then mine, just draw 2 cards. Cascading Cataracts. I really like this card. It is an indestructible land. It taps for colorless, but if you were to tap 5 and tap this, you can add 5 mana in any combination to your mana pool. So it just turns those 5 mana that you tapped for that into any color, which is really, really well. If you need that combination for any of the cards in your hand, it's pretty good. I've got 1 already, so now I have 2. Open to Wonder. Ooh, 9 cards, 9 commons. That means I'm probably gonna get a foil. Open into Wonder. X target creatures cannot be blocked this turn, and then until end of turn, those creatures gain whenever this deals damage to a player. Draw a card. So if you have 5 creatures out, they can't be blocked, and then when they deal damage to the player, you draw 5 cards. Manglehorn. When it enters the battlefield, you can destroy an artifact, and then artifacts your opponent control enter tapped. Gale Strike. Again, return a tap creature to its hand, draw a card. Neheb the Worthy. Legendary. First Strike. 2/2. Other Minotaurs you control have First Strike. As long as you have 1 or fewer cards in your hand, Minotaurs have +2/+0. And then whenever this deals damage to a player, each player discards a card. And then I got a foil Minotaur. Warfire Javelineer. Nice. Yeah, I started realizing if you get 9 commons in your pack, they give you a foil. So if you see me recounting cards, I'm checking to see if I get a foil. Bone Picker. This is a really good card. It is a 3/2 flying death touch for 3 generic and a black, but it costs 3 generic less if a creature were to die this turn. So just go ahead and kill off one of their creatures, or attack, and if one of yours dies, you pay 1, you get a 3/2 flying death touch. Grasping Dunes, again. Baleful Amit. It's a 4/3 lifelink. When it enters, you put a -1/-1 on a creature you control. And then Pyramid of the Pantheon. Pyramid of the Pantheon states, tap 2 and tap this, add 1 mana of any color to your mana pool, put a brick counter on it, and then if it's got 3 brick counters on it, you can tap this for 3 mana of any color to your mana pool. I really want to play a set of these. This would come in handy, because play this turn 1, and then in 3 turns you have 3 mana of any color. As long as you're using your mana to buff that up. Canra Charioteer again. Trample. Others have trample. By force, X and 1 destroy X artifacts. It's really good. Exemplar of Strength. This is the green card I was talking about earlier. A 2-drop 4/4. When it enters, put 3 -1/-1s on target creature you control. And then when this attack, you can remove 1 from this and gain 1 life. Like I said, I run this in my God deck. I kill off one of my weak creatures, and then I can block or attack with my God. So I'll play this turn 2, God on turn 3, and then I can block with my God. Prowling Cephalopod. This cannot be countered, and creature spells you control cannot be countered. And this is a 4/3. Really, really good card, guys. If you're running against a counter deck and you don't want your gods countered, you don't want any creatures countered, this is the card to play. And it's a 4/3 for 3. Fuller land. And then on to the last 10 packs. Come on, Invocation. Come on, Gideon. If I can get this open. Synchronized Strike. Instant, up to 2 target creatures get +2/+2 until the end of turn. Gravedigger. When it enters the battlefield, you can return a creature card from your graveyard to your hand. Weaver of the Currents. It is a 3-drop 2/2. You can add 2 generic mana to your hand. Or 2 colorless, I'm sorry. Failure to Comply. Failure is return target spell to its owner's hand, so if they were trying to cast a spell, just bounce it to their hand, and then comply. Choose a card name, and then until your next turn, they cannot cast a spell. So if you wanted to, you can bounce it to your hand, and then play the comply cost, and they cannot cast that until your next turn. It's a pretty good combo. Obviously, it's blue and white. It's a control deck. Wayward Servant. Whenever another zombie enters the battlefield under your control, each opponent loses 1 life and you gain 1 life. Really good in a zombie deck. There are a lot of zombies in this set. Another Shadowstorm Vizier. Another Seraph of the Suns. And Liliana's Mastery. So zombies you control get +1/+1, and then when it enters the battlefield, you're going to get 2/2 black zombies. So basically you get 2 3/3 black zombies, as long as you control this. I would definitely run a white-black zombie deck with that in it. Alright. Faith of the Devoted enchantment. Whenever you cycle a discard, you can pay 1, and each opponent loses 2, and you gain 2. It's really good in a cycle deck. Oops. Gate to the Afterlife. Whenever a non-token creature dies that you control, you gain a life. Then you may draw a card, and then if you do, discard a card. This is one of the weird cards in the set. You can pay 2 and tap this and sack this, and then search your graveyard, hand, and or library for a card called God Pharaoh's Gift and put it into the battlefield. The thing is, there is no card of that name yet in all of Magic. So it just leaves you to wonder what is going to be the next set. another Trial of Zeal, and then a Gideon's Intervention. When this enters the battlefield, choose a card name, and then your opponent can't cast spells with the name, and you prevent all damage that would be dealt by permanent to that name. This is really good to stop Gideon. You cast this, they can't cast any Gideons, or if they already have a Gideon out and it turns into a 5/5 indestructible creature, it cannot deal damage to you. So play that and then laugh in their face. Your Gideon is worthless. Time to reflect. Exile target creature that blocked or attacked, or blocked or was blocked by a zombie this turn. For 1, it's pretty good. Trial of Strength. This is the green Ronus enchantment. When it enters the battlefield, create a 4/2 green beast token. So this would obviously help you attack or block with your god. And then when a card enters, return it to your hand. Limits of Solidarity. Gain control of it. It gains haste until the end of turn. Cycle for 2. Oracle's Vault. Pay 2, tap this, exile the top card of your library. Until the end of turn, you may play that card, and then you put a brick counter on this. And then after 3 brick counters, you can tap this and exile the top card of your library, and then you may play that card without paying its mana cost. Another full art mountain. There's some pretty overpowered cards in this set, as you can tell already. Embalmer's Tools. This will help you if you have an embalming deck. Activated abilities of creature cards in your graveyard cost 1 generic less to activate, so your embalming is going to cost 1 less. Tap an untapped zombie you control, and target player puts the top card of his or her library into his or her graveyard. So when you embalm a creature, it is a zombie in addition, so you just basically tap your embalmed creature and they have to mill the top card. Another Exemplar of Strength. Nice. Stir in the Sands again. And then Vizier of the Menagerie. It's a creature. You may look at the top card of your library at any time. You may cast the top card of your library. If it's a creature card, you may spend mana as though it were any mana type to cast creature spells. That is an amazing card. Fantastic. I want another one of those to run in my green god deck. I'm probably gonna run green black. Red maybe? Yeah, green, black, red. Oh. 9 cards again, guys. Let's hope for a good foil. I'm hoping for a Gideon foil. Or an Invocation. So, Open into Wonder again. Trial of Knowledge, the blue trial. When it enters the battlefield, draw 3 cards and discard a card. Deem Worthy. Instant card, deals 7 damage to target creature with cycling for 4. Ooh. Hepatra, Vizier of Poisons. I did need another one of these. So basically, when this enters the battlefield, or whenever it deals damage to a player, you may put a -1/-1 on a creature that you either control or don't. And then, whenever you do put 1 or more, you create a 1/1 green snake creature with Death Touch. So I like to turn this on turn 2. And then on turn 3, I'll put the black Cartagé on this, which will give it +1/+1 on lifelink. And then the Cartagé also states that you can put a -1/-1 on a target creature. So I will put it on one of their creatures, and then I'll get a 1/1 snake with Death Touch, and then I will attack with him, and I will get a 3/3 with lifelink. Hopefully it deals damage, so that I can put another one -1/-1 on a creature, and then I will get another snake. And then I got a foil plains. Beautiful. Not full art, but I will take it. Four packs left. No planeswalkers, no invocations yet. I'm not too disappointed though. Got some pretty good cards. Battlefield Scavenger again. Devoted Cropmate. Defying Great Maw. Drake Haven. Nice. Whenever you cycle or discard a card, you can pay 1 generic. And if you do, you get a 2/2 blue Drake creature token with flying. Really good card. You get a 2/2 flyer for 1 generic. Consuming Fervor again. Merciless Javelineer, excuse me. Renewed Faith. Glorybringer. Fantastic. As I was saying earlier, it's a 4/4 flying haste, and then when you exert it, you can deal 4 damage to a non-dragon creature an opponent controls. Excuse me, I thought it was creature or player. What's really weird about this, last time I checked, Glorybringer non-pre-release is more expensive than the actual pre-release version. I now have 2 Glorybringers. It's pretty nice. Last 2 packs. Really hoping for some good cards. Nine cards again. Awesome. Foil card. Here I come. Let's keep it secret though. Sixth Sense. 1-drop enchantment aura. Whenever enchanted creature deals damage to a player, draw a card. Bone Picker again. Nice. Definitely looking for a playset of those. Baleful Ammit. Angel of Sanctions, 3/4 flying. When it enters the battlefield, exile target non-land permanent until this leaves, and then you can embalm it for 6. So potentially, when it enters the field, exile something until it leaves, and then you can embalm it for 6 and exile something else. And then I got a foil Gideon's Intervention and a full art land. Nice. Super happy. That's the 3rd mythic rare that I've gotten so far. 3rd or 4th. And then here it is, guys. The last Amonkhet booster. Let's hope I can count 9 cards and then get a really nice foil. Or hope that I get something really good. Another god. Here we go. 10 cards. Hazaret's Monument, the Red God's Monument. So obviously red creatures are going to cost 1 less generic to cast, and then whenever you do cast a creature spell, you may discard a card and then draw a card. Avenwind Guide, 2/3 Flying Vigilant. Creature tokens you control have flying and vigilance. Embalm for 6. Sheffet Monitor, 6/5 cycling for 4. Whenever you cycle this, you may search your library for a basic land card or desert card and put it on the battlefield. Nice. I would honestly probably just cycle this card then for 4. Then you could draw a card and then also get a land onto the battlefield. Dispossess. is the rare. Choose an artifact card name. Search target opponent's graveyard, hand, library for any number of cards with chosen name and exile them. Nice. And then that is all of the cards. So now I'm going to go through and sort all of the foils, the regular rares, and the mythic rares. So I can go through and easily check out the more valuable cards. Harsh Mentor. That is the card. Okay, so let's go ahead and review my mythics. I pulled 2 gods out of this. I got Oketra and Ronus. In my opinion, this is the best god. I also have Combat Celebrant, Vizier of the Menagerie, amazing card, Angel of Sanctions. So I've got 5 mythic rares. I'm going to definitely put these 2 green ones in my green, red, black, and probably Combat Celebrant too. I got some pretty good foils in here. Probably most excited about, I really like that Evolving Wilds. You can never have too many of these. Thin your lands out. You're in need of a specific color, bam, you got it. Comes in tapped, but oh well. And then Glorybringer. I need to put that in there. I'll just sort these a little bit later. I might go ahead and get another booster box sometime soon. So if I do, definitely stay tuned. Hopefully I pull a Gideon or definitely an Invocation next time. But until then, leave some comments in the comment section. Let me know what you thought about what I pulled. I will possibly leave my email in there if you want to contact me and purchase some of the cards that I'm not using. Feel free. I do have other Magic cards for sale as well. Let's see. Definitely subscribe. Maybe what we'll do is, for the first 100 subscribers, since I'm just now making this profile, I will choose a random person and I will send 3 Amonkhet boosters to 1 lucky subscriber. But until next time, guys, I appreciate it. Hope you enjoyed the video, and you guys have a great one.